What's going on, everybody? Brendan here, Dad Planet, full-time reseller, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the big pink elephant in the room, and that's eBay scam buyers. Stay tuned. All right, now if you sell online for any length of time, unfortunately, you are going to run into someone who will try to scam you. And also, unfortunately, despite your best efforts to avoid this, the online platforms tend to side with those buyers. Gross, right? Now, there are a lot of scams that buyers will try to run to defraud you of your well-earned money and time. Scams like the one where they claim the item they received was a totally empty box, or the one where they claim the item that you sent them was completely different than the one in the pictures. Or how about this one? How about the one where they claim the item was never delivered to my address? My neighbor sits over on his porch 24/7 and he watches, and that UPS man never came to my door. It is totally provenable. Yeah, we're just scratching the surface here, but I'm going to take you through a recent conversation I had with a potential scam buyer. Now, the reason I'm using the term potential is because we're in what I like to call the fishing period. And this is the period where a buyer has reached out to me before filing an actual claim, and they're kind of fishing for a potential refund based on the information that they've provided. So I'm going to go to my computer screen. We're going to take a look at this here. All right, so I'm going to show you the actual item, the actual shoes that were sent to them. I'll pop some pictures up on the screen as I read the email correspondence between me and this potential scam buyer. So the first email reads like this. I emailed you yesterday morning about these shoes. The photos you posted showed unbroken soles, but the photos attached show how the soles looked on delivery. So you've seen the shoes in the condition with which I sent them. Now I'm going to show some pictures on the screen of the shoes they are saying are the ones they received from me out of the box. Now take a look at these soles. All right, now my response to something like this is always usually pretty the same. So it's, sorry you're having issues with your item. I need to see images of the full coat inside the shoe, preferably, while also showing the broken sole. I'll also need images of the tops of the shoes. Those are the full uppers. Thanks again. I'm looking forward to those pictures so that I can help you further. In this instance, I just want to match it up and make sure that it is the exact same pair of shoes that I sent them. And if you look at the pictures and you compare them close enough, you'll see it is the exact same pair. So I wanted to make sure that that is what we were dealing with. And that's when I contacted eBay just to let them know what was going on, because something seemed insanely fishy. So here's the next message. I've attached more photos. I'm gonna go ahead and put those photos up on the screen. You can tell by the code on the side of the shoe that it is the exact shoe. And if you look at the sole, you look at the bottoms of them, you can see where the word Salvatore Ferragamo is. If you look at the word Ferragamo close enough, and you can see the kind of the ridges from the stamp once they stamped that bottom shoe. I'm dealing with the exact same pair of shoes. They just are extremely worn because the buyer has had them for 3 weeks. So yeah, we're not making any assumptions here, but we're totally making assumptions. This is going to turn out to be a scam. So here is my response to them. Thank you. Looks like the exact same shoe based on the way the word Ferragamo was cut on the sole. I contacted eBay. The rep took a look and agreed. Those are the same shoes. Perfect. Okay, so we've got a little bit of backup from eBay. Not that it's going to help in the long run. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And then now here is this buyer's response. Sure, they are the same shoes you advertised, but both soles are split in two. That's what I'm concerned about. Your photo showed intact soles. All right, let's give this buyer the benefit of the doubt. Let's go over the pros and the cons. Let's say I sent them a worn pair of shoes, right? We're gonna weigh the pros and the cons here, and I'm gonna start with the pros. So the pros is I send them a pair of shoes and I get 60, 65 bucks. Awesome. All right, now let's start with the cons. First, the buyer makes a return request with eBay. eBay auto approves it. Item not as described, INAD, ding number 1. Ding number 2, the buyer paid around $8 to have them shipped out to them. That's $8 that comes back out of my sale. And then I'm gonna end up having to pay $8 for them to ship the item back to me. So that's $16 right there. 3, the item gets returned and the buyer gets refunded. That's another $65. So $65 in a return there, plus the other $16. And then 4, buyer leaves a scathing negative feedback using all 500 characters. If you've been following the eBay changes for any length of time, you know that they've extended the character limit from 80 to 500 on feedback. So yeah, I get a horrible feedback, and that leads to point number 5, a potentially damaging ding as a full-time seller on my overall account for the long term. I mean, it's just a bad look, right? So who in their right mind would send a pair of shoes that were as different as the ones you saw in the pictures? I digress. We're going to continue. All right, so my next response after all of that goes as follows. No one in their right mind would send shoes to someone like the images you attached for me in hopes of trying to make a $65 sale. It's beyond silly. It looks like you received the shoes 3 weeks ago based on the tracking information I see on my end. The most likely scenario is that the shoes were received and then worn. I sell tons of shoes. Not a single pair I have ever sold arrive in the condition with which you've shown. Now, the following message is the message you usually get from someone who knows they've been caught in a lie or in a scam. So let me read this to you. I have also never seen a pair of shoes with a sole that's split like that. If they were intact when you sent them, they split en route or in the sealed box in my home. What would cause a pair of shoes to split like that even if they were worn? Really? Really? Okay, my response. They didn't split while in the box. The wear from the original images all the way to the ones you attached show very clear wear. They didn't split in the box. Here's the buyer's response. Oh, I was out of town and just got them when I returned on Saturday. They were split when they arrived. I agree. They are nice shoes. They're not expensive, or I would have asked to return them, but they are split. I'd like some acknowledgement of the fact that what I purchased was not what I was shown. Of course, my response, sorry, but I didn't send the shoes in the condition with which you've shown. I just got off the phone with another eBay rep so that I have double confirmation that these are in fact the ones I sent, and that it is highly unlikely that they were sent in any other condition other than the condition you see in my images. No clue what transpired once they were dropped off at the carriers. But when I send shoes to buyers, they receive them in the exact condition with which they were photographed. My feedback and my sales history are proof of that. And I did get one final message from this lovely potential scam buyer, and that was, I have 100% approval rating too, and these are the shoes I received. My feedback and purchase history show that I pay immediately on purchase and that I do not make complaints or returns. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we dealing with here? A potential eBay scam buyer who is fishing for a return or a partial return because the shoes that they wore for a good solid 3 weeks both split and they are frustrated and want their money back. That's the only explanation I can come to. Luckily, nothing has transpired yet. There hasn't been a feedback placed. They haven't made an official return. But these are the types of buyers that you are going to run into on occasion in eBay, and you have to hope that even with your proof, even with me going through 2 eBay reps, having them both look at the images that were sent to me plus the images on the actual shoe that I received, that in the event something happens, they try to make an INAD claim, that I would be backed, and you just never know. You really never know. But this is a potential scam moving forward with a seller that might have a little bit of a guilty conscience, or maybe they've tried this before and they've gotten some money back on previous purchases, but I'm not going to stand for it. And you know what, quite honestly, I don't really worry about feedback. So if they end up leaving a feedback and eBay doesn't remove it, so be it. It is what it is. I don't care. But look, when you deal with these people on a daily basis, hopefully you never get used to something like this, but it is just bound to happen. I guess it's like part and parcel in online selling where there are faceless transactions, nameless transactions, and you just got to protect yourself as best you can. So I thought this was a funny one, but we clearly caught this buyer in a scam, and hopefully nothing transpires from here. But yeah, you just got to be careful and protect yourself when you're selling online. So listen, if you want me to expose more potential buyer scams or actual scams, heaven forbid they come through, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, because I will lay it all out on the line for you folks to see. If you've come across a scam, let me know in the comments what you've seen, how you dealt with it, what the outcome was, because you got to kind of hold eBay accountable in situations like that, Amazon if you're selling on Amazon and the like. So if you like this video, go ahead and smash the like button. I appreciate that. And again, make sure you're subscribed because I will do this again. And hopefully it doesn't happen again, but it's probably going to happen. So anyway, Brendan here, Dad Planet. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next video.